carts. I had some problems with my video editing software. I was using Windows Movie Maker, which usually works fine for me, but my computer's a little older, so it had a little bit of lag and it was very difficult to edit. So I got some new software. It's called Lightworks. If I can get that working, I will be using that from now on if I can find a better source. It's free. There's tutorials on YouTube. I think it looks good so far. So going to the fabric store can be a huge, daunting task. It's not like walking into your supermarket or into the school supply section where you've been exposed to different types of materials, different types of brands that you're already familiar with. Like, you might have a favorite branded pen or pencil that you already know, you can just reach and grab it, but I don't know if you have been exposed to different types of fabrics, threads, and all sorts of things that can seem a little bit foreign in going to the fabric store alone. So I would recommend your first trip to the fabric store should be with someone who is familiar with it, or a friend, just for your first time, to help you get started on choosing a pattern, helping you get started on choosing fabric and thread that matches your machine. I think it might all be standard. Usually, well, I'll have to show you my machine when I do the first part of my Armin costume in a later video. But usually the thread has a hole in it and it just sits right on the top of the machine. So unless you have a specific machine as far as threading, I would definitely check with the user manual what kind of thread, but I just pick up whatever spool is available. So the first thing you want to do when you walk to the fabric store is go to the back where their pattern section is. I go to Joann's. I don't know if that's a store near you, but they have books with patterns in it. You can also purchase a pattern online. Mind you, for most costumes, you're not going to find the exact pattern that you are looking for. You have to find something close. And I forgot to define what a pattern was, but pretty much a pattern is, think of it like tracing. So if you ever traced something, I'm not talking about like tracing paper, but like a stencil, and it's like a heart, and you put the pencil and you do trace the heart through the stencil, and you cut it out. That's what a pattern is. And I don't know if it varies what the packaging looks like, but it's usually white packaging. I have a pattern right here. This is a dress, but it's in a white packaging. You can open it up. It's going to have some stuff like this. First the instructions, then the pattern itself, but you don't have to open that up when you go out and buy it. You do, however, want to search through all the books to make sure you can find the thing that's close enough to what you are looking to make. So I'm making my Armin jacket, and I couldn't find any really good jacket patterns. So what I wound up getting was, I got a pattern for a women's dress shirt. It's a women's dress shirt, and I chose this pattern because really it doesn't matter what fabric you use. It's still the same process. You're still going to measure, take your measurements, put it on your fabric, pin it down, cut it out, and sew it together. So pick something that looks similar to what you want your outfit to look like. This is a woman's shirt, and it comes with a built-in bra, which is really weird. But I needed a button-up jacket, and I could not find any because these are the pattern books are not like your grandmother's pattern books blow off the desk from like the 70s, 50s, or 20s. These pattern books come out by season. So it's a spring, so they're going to have spring patterns. Or it's not spring now, it's actually winter. But they have the spring pattern book coming out, and they didn't have a lot of the winter ones. But these are the brand new fashions, hot off the market. So I got a woman's dress shirt for mine because I essentially just need the button up. And it doesn't even button up. I just need something that has a collar on it and something that has sleeves. And there is a ginormous amount of diversity in patterns, but it's like I said, it's kind of like a catch-20. Like, they have books that are like this thick of stuff, but more than likely it's not going to be exactly what you want. There are some exceptions. Costume patterns are awesome. I got a costume pattern that I purchased right here. This is a medieval dress. I got them on sale. I bought 5 patterns for $7. And this is McCall's, but there's also Simplicity. I think Vogue has patterns too. And I'm gonna lie, some of these patterns might run you up to $18, but at least for the fabric store I go to online, they're always on sale. Like I said, I bought, these are just what I recently bought. This one, yeah, $18, $12. These are five patterns. I paid $7 for this, and the patterns come with, oftentimes they come with a couple of different variations of this outfit in one thing. So here's a woman's shirt and the dress, and I'll take a picture of all of the things that I show in the video just to give you kind of a look-see at what at least the patterns look like, and I'll take a picture of the fabrics maybe. So I bought kimono because, by golly, I don't know about you, but you've probably seen an anime with a really amazing kimono, and you always want to make it. I don't know if in my childhood, the thing about Inuyasha, I was like, oh my gosh. Comes with this is a kimono. It also has a ninja pattern in it. And it looks like in 2 types of karate type patterns as well. So for $12.95, and I got this on sale, it's got a kimono, a ninja pattern, and 2 different karate patterns. I bought a dress and another dress because they were on sale, and I thought it'd be a nifty project to do. I might actually do these dresses and post it on the channel just for fun. That's so that you can see a little bit of variety and patterns. So I'll show you these patterns. So when you get to the fabric store, head to the back. Don't worry about your fabric, because if you don't have a pattern, you're not making a costume unless you're going to wing it. And you can definitely wing it. I challenge you to take a look at your clothes. Look at the seams. Clothes really aren't that hard to construct. Just look at the seams of your jackets, your t-shirts, bras, underwear, it doesn't matter. Just look at where it's connected together. Essentially, just like a puzzle, they cut out pieces and they sewed them together. And oftentimes when you sew things, it's reversed, so it's inside out. But just take a look at your clothes. So if there's a pattern that, like my shirt pattern is missing a collar attachment, because there's a collar here and another collar attachment, that's fine. I'll just use the scraps and attach it where it looks normal. So you can go ahead and take a gander at your parents' suits or friends' clothes or even your clothes, so you can get a better idea of where things should go, and you can eyeball it when you look at it, and then you can pin it together when you sew it. Some people use tracing pencils on their fabrics. That's fine. I bought one and it didn't work for me because I think it was cheap. But something light, because you're really not gonna see it. Don't use permanent marker, but like a pencil, a gray pencil, or a white Crayola thing. Don't bear down to it like you're trying to color into the next dimension if you're pressing hard on it. Just something light enough so that you can trace around it so you cut the pattern out. When my tracing pencil wasn't working, I bought a box of pins. Pins will save your life. I believe I have nothing fancy, just pins. Please don't leave these out on your floor. You will never find them, and you will step on them, and it will be horrible. But these are amazing for, and be careful with your patterns. Made out of tissue paper. Not only tissue paper, but like tissue paper. I think it's made out of tissue paper. They're very delicate unless you get a pattern that's not made out of tissue paper. But all the ones I bought are made out of tissue paper. But you can lightly poke through it and then cut it, because once you pin it up, it's not going anywhere. I don't have a mannequin. I want to buy one, but I ain't got no money, so I don't have a mannequin. So, next thing, after you purchase your pattern, or get your pattern, fabrics. When you get into the fabric store, you're either going to be extremely amazed or completely overwhelmed at what they have, and there might be a mixture of both, between cottons and felts and cloth, thicker cloths, and all sorts of things. My rule of thumb is, when I purchase my fabrics, is purchase a fabric that feels like what it should feel like. So obviously you're not going to go and buy some wool if you're going to make, unless you're making a wool jacket, but let's just say that you want like a pillowcase material. But you don't want to buy wool, because just because it looks pretty, it's not going to meet your needs for the costume. So, straight up cotton is very thin, it's cheap, it comes in tons and tons of colors. But if you're making, like, I did an Italian costume, Italy, and the suit's an army suit, And like I said, mentioned in earlier videos, yes, it can look like what, or as long as it looks the same and you're satisfied with it, go for it. But you'd be surprised what kind of sales that you can hop on. You can go ahead and get yourself some quality fabric for a cheap price. So go ahead. I'm encouraged to just touch all of the fabric. If it doesn't feel good, don't buy it. It doesn't feel like the texture, it's the same thing, don't feel good. But if it doesn't feel like what you think in your mind it should be, don't buy it. And animes and mangas is drawn in, so unless it specifically says it's satin, don't buy satin. Spend all that money when you can just get some cotton fabric or thicker fabric or jean fabric or whatever. I went in for my Armin costume and I got this. I went on the receipt and I couldn't figure out what it was called. I'm sorry, but it's slightly shiny brown fabric, but literally you can Google it as well for your costume, but literally I walked into the store with a reference picture in color. Don't forget your reference picture. It's very important. Several reference not several, but 2 or 3 should be great just to help you get a color idea, because sometimes they change color. Like if you read the manga, there might not be very good color versions yet out for your character, but the anime is much better. But I just walked up to the fabric. It's slightly shiny, and it's also stretchy. Ooh, not stretchy that way, but okay, that's funny. It's not stretchy this way, but it's very stretchy this way. I felt it, looked at the price, and I bought it because I thought it matched the wraparound that I needed for my Armin costume. I also bought real leather for the straps. This was pricey, but it was also on sale because I had coupons. But it's your budget. It does not have to be the exact thing that they wear. For the straps, brown fabric, it doesn't have to be functional. Just go out and get some brown stuff. But I bought some leather because I thought it was cool, and I had actually had saved my money, so why not go out and treat yourself. And then for the jacket, I just shopped around and just pretty much took the fabric and felt it and say, okay, this isn't as thin as cotton, but it's thick. It's got a grainy feel to it because I'm making essentially an army jacket. So I would have liked to go something thicker, but the downside to your imagination in reality is it may not have the exact color yet. And you might, I don't know if you want to be that detailed into your specific color, but there's probably not going to be an exact match. And that's perfectly fine. You can Google costumes and look at real life cosplayers, their pictures, and look, and you will see there's a variety of variations of colors and fabrics and the way that they try to do costumes and the way that you can do costumes. Some cheap fixes, you could also get a fabric and dye it. I'm not a professional in dyeing, but YouTube will help you out with that, and tutorials online help you dye fabrics. Thread, check your machine first, but most of the time I believe you just stick the spool on the machine threaded. And I've got lots of spools. I always mess up on buying spools in the sense that I always buy too much thread, but you never have too much thread because it's like $1. It really isn't that expensive. Be careful that you're not buying embroidery thread. It's beautiful, but unless you're embroidering something, don't spend all that money. I've got some black, some tan, tan's lighter, some tan, some browns, but they'll have a section for spools. This big spool is 547 yards. And this little guy is 110 yards. Now I don't know, I'm one of those visual people, so this looks tiny, so I always buy this. I don't need all this. I've got 2 of these, and this is a few costumes right here for these big guys right there. For For yards, I mean, you never can go wrong with, better to have more thread than less thread. So if you wind up buying a giant jumbo spool, as I did, this one's extremely, a lot of thread on it, that's fine. What you do, however, want to do is make sure you're paying attention to how many yards you need for your fabric, for the patterns. And then patterns can be very complicated. I'm always banging my head against patterns, and I don't do exact measurements because I want it to fit loosely on me. So most patterns on the flat will have, and I think it's in inches, I'll have to take a closer picture, measurement sizes. And I go and ballpark it because I'm not very good at measuring things. But I usually do the things that stick out the most. So the breast. You can do the shoulders, but what they do is get the breast, the waist, the shoulders, you get general measurements, and they ballpark it into a size for you. And it says this should generally fit you. If not, you can do alterations on it. So it has a bust, waist, hip, back, waist, and length. And these might vary based on what you buy. So if you're making socks, you're not going to have these on your pattern. But this is the shirt that I'm using for the arm and jacket. So once you figure out your sizes, so I believe I'm always in the ballpark. I only do bust, even though I'm going to be wearing a compressor, but I'm around 34, 36, and this is under the misses. So you find 34, 36. Then there's a second chart right here on the back. I'll take a picture for you. Or you can just look around and say, okay, let me see. Let me look at this misses. And I forgot to mention that when the sizes, the inches that you actually are, like I'm going to go with 36, it's under a column that says 14, and that corresponds to what number pattern that you need to buy. So let's see, on the back, there's 2 different size types, and it goes into much more detail on the pattern. There's different lines that you can cut into. So you don't have to worry about not one size fits all by any means at all. It's not. It's just trying to get you to buy the package that has your likely size. So for this pattern, it has combinations B5 and RR, and B5 includes 8, 10, 12, 14, and 16, and RR includes, I believe these are women's size, 18, 20, 22, and 24. So then you can pick up that pattern. It says B5. This is the pattern name, the picture, and it says B5, and it even tells you, includes the sizes right here from that list. So that's how. All right, and once you figure out your inches, your measurements, or whatever you want to measure, and then look at the corresponding number at the top of the column, and you can always ask an associate for help. They should know generally what to do, even if they're not experts, because not everyone who works at the store is an expert. But they generally should get this question. They should know. And I always ask to use their measuring tape because I don't have any measuring tape. So that's what when I get my size. I just measure in the store. It's not anything specific. I might even sell my jacket on, which is a bad thing to do. But I just want ballpark. I don't want to have a perfect fit. As I mentioned in my other video, it doesn't have the part that I make does not have to be absolutely perfect because I am no expert by any means. But anything that I purchased must be to my highest standards. So it doesn't have to look amazing because you should be proud of yourself for attempting something, and it's a hobby, and just be proud of what it looks like. Practice makes perfect. Over time, it will look better. So right after that, so I got 14, and that means. And it's got under the number that was the general ballpark of your measurements, and it'll go down for each of the sizes. So if you're generally around a bust size of 36, a waist of 28, a hip of 38, and a back waist length of 16 and a half, you're going to be in the 14. So once you find 14, it'll tell you how many yards you need. And for 14, it says for 45 inches, I guess this is height, I'm assuming, is 1/3 yards, and then for 60 it's 1/4. I like to round up, so I get 2 yards just in case things happen and something bad happens. I just have to have a little bit of surplus. You never know when you need scraps. But you can definitely walk up to the counter and ask the cutting clerk for that, and they will be happy to cut it out for you. And that's getting your fabric right there, and that's patterns. Other small things and amazing things you can get from the fabric store. I would not. Oh yeah, please do not go out and buy fabric from places that sell like miscellaneous random things. You can buy fabric from Walmart. I wouldn't buy it from Walmart. Go to a fabric store for all your clothes needs. They have a better selection. They have coupons. It's just and they have probably better associates. Just better. You don't go to the store. Well, people probably go to the store and buy all kinds of stuff from all these like Walmart stores or Target stores. Oh, now Target has a fabric section. No, Target, I'm not shopping there for my fabric. Because this is something important. You're going to want the best. Because they're going to have a small selection and be disappointed. Although Walmart used to have a really nice, very small fabric section. I think these are my fabric scissors. I believe I lost them, which is a sad day. But I'm going to use them, nevertheless. Some really nice scissors. Invest in them. Don't use your fabric scissors to do anything else except for cut fabric. Don't cut construction paper. Don't cut anything, because you're going to want it to be a nice, smooth cut. I got buttons. There are all kinds of buttons in the store, different ways to attach the buttons. About Velcro for another reason. But as far as accessories like buttons and patches and other things that are on the costumes, just find the thing that looks similar. As far as attaching it, there's always 100 bazillion different ways to attach things to other things. It doesn't have, like I said in another video, it doesn't have to be practical. It just has to be visually looking like it's in the same place. Like for my wraparound, I have no idea what they use to keep the wraparound on. So I bought some Velcro from the store. You can also do buttons or snaps, and they have instructions on the back on how to pin those. I just bought some really cute buttons because I thought they were really nice with the costume. I bought buckles. They didn't have belt buckles, but they have when I make the straps, and I believe I'll do 3 videos, the wraparound, how I made the straps, and the jacket separately. So that's your trip to the fabric store. Get your pattern first. That's the most important thing you will need you need that. Then the fabric, then the materials. And it's very important that the first 2 you get first, because you don't want to buy all these nice buttons and threads and accessories and run out of money, and you can't get enough yards, or run out of money, or come at a bad time and can't get your pattern or sell, or the store's out of that pattern, because you'll be so out of luck, and it is going to make your project a little bit more difficult, not impossible, but a little bit more difficult. Alright, that concludes the video. Thank you so much for watching. If you would like, please subscribe for more. I will have some more costumes coming up. I will have more in-depth videos for the Armin costume and a Poison Ivy for Katsucon. And Katsucon is an anime convention from February 14th through 16th. I'll be there. If you're interested in having an interview for my channel, please email me at halfwaycosplay@gmail.com. Also hit me up on my Twitter and Instagram and Facebook with the same name, Halfway Cosplay. Alright, thank you so much, guys, and